So I've got a question for you.
Such a refined comment.
I have a question for you,
Mr. Harvey
and I have
Weinstein.
a quick
Such
follow-up.
a refined comment.
So my first question for you is, do you know how much a K through 12 education costs?
Per pupil or per school?
Per student.
Depends on the school district or state.
Let's talk about an average.
So per year, on average, it's about $18,500 per pupil, depending on.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nanifia Scholar. So today we are back with another video from Charlie Kirk. So today, a socialist tries to outsmart Charlie Kirk and fails. So guys, without further ado, let's get started.
So I have a. So I've got a question for you.
Such a refined comment.
I have a question for you,
Mr. Harvey
and I have
Weinstein.
a quick
Such
follow-up.
a refined comment.
So my first question for you is, do you know how much a K through 12 education costs?
Per pupil or per school?
Per student.
Depends on the school district or state.
Let's talk about an average.
So per year, on average, it's about $18,500 per pupil, depending on the city or municipality or state. It can go as high as $27,000 per pupil if it's second through fourth grade in Chicago, or it can go as low as $14,100 per pupil if it's private or charter school, which actually has proven to bring down the price of education. So thank you for the Trivial Pursuit type question.
I'm actually surprised you had such a comprehensive answer to that. So
I'm sorry, what?
I'm surprised you had such a comprehensive answer to that. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
My follow-up, a question on that. No, hold on. This is a serious question, though. You know, if you're advocating for pure capitalism,
More of a capitalist society,
sure,
most absolutely.
Sure. One of the things you need to talk about is education, right?
Let's talk about it.
Education, it's a huge amount of taxes, huge amount of spending per student across the country. You know, we're looking at tens of thousands per year. Now, in a communist society, capitalist society, let's say there are none of these taxes. You expect each parent to have these hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay for the education of each of their children, just for schools leading up to college.
So let me ask you a question. What funds local schools?
Property taxes, federal taxes, and a load of other taxes.
So what's the predominant funder of local schools?
The most important one's going to be property taxes.
Property tax. Have I ever advocated for the abolition of property taxes?
You're talking about getting rid of a socialist institution, and
Correct.
the biggest socialist
property
institution.
tax is anything but a socialist institution. It's an ownership tax. If you don't want to pay property tax, don't buy the property.
It's large contributions of everyone to take care of everyone in the way that you accepted.
If you don't want to live in the neighborhood, live somewhere else. You can live somewhere with next to no property tax. You can live in Butte, Montana, with a $14 a year property tax.
There is no education system in the United States in which you can not get an education by living there.
That's correct, yes.
That is a
But if
socialist
you want to pay next to no, okay, it's not, so what's your argument? That I'm somehow like against taxes or?
No, I am asking, in a world without the taxes that you're talking about.
I want to understand the question precisely.
In this world where you have limited to no taxes, the capitalist model, which is that.
So let me make perfectly clear. I would love to abolish the federal income tax. Probably not going to happen. So we can go to a 10%. Everyone pays 10%. That's plenty of money to fund essential government services. Now, let's talk about funding of schools. I've never, not once, said get rid of property tax. There's more than enough money in the property tax system, in the state tax system, and in the other ways that we fund education, such as the lottery and other government revenue services, to effectively fund public schools if you're able to fire bad teachers and fight public sector teacher unions. If you're able to do that. If you're able to do that. Thank you.
Where is the lie in this? Honestly, where is the lie in this? I was like, what is he arguing? Is he arguing the fact that we should Charlie should campaign against payment of taxes, or he should campaign against corporate funding education? I don't know what he was actually campaigning against, but then I totally agree on Charlie on this one. You know, I mean, government do fund public education like basically every time, because the local institutions and the public institutions, they are mostly either cheap or they are free. Some are free, some are cheap, you know, and it's human beings that are sponsoring. It's the government, and the governments are using people's tax, as we said, he said, the property taxes to fund these educations, you know. And if not even the government, other NGOs, I mean private organizations are actually funding these educations, you know. So if the government is funding these schools, educations, and teachers are not doing their job, you know, I mean, teachers are not lecturers go to school close like the time do you want, they are relaxed because it as because let me because if you compare the private sectors to the government sectors, you could see there is a difference because there is no let's say checkups, there is no, it's like you're free to do whatever you do when it comes to the government sector. But the private sectors, because they know they're paying, parents are actually paying huge, some people are actually paying huge, some putting their kids in schools, like in the school, so they do their best. But when it comes to these public sectors, people are really relaxed. No, sometimes you go to school the whole semester and you see your lecturer just once, or you see a teacher once, well others to do good, I mean, with every bad, like with one full maize, you obviously find a bad corn in it, people are actually doing good. But so if organizations, or governments are using people's sweats, property taxes to fund education, and yet we have these bad teachers, and others, and students who are not really learning, then what are the use of it? Why should we keep on funding this education? Why should we keep funding without seeing any result? Like, I don't know if that is what he's arguing. Then if the government to keep funding this education, like he should make these schools as socialism schools, institutions, so that it to be free, to be cheap for everyone to patronize. Then we need to put more effort, the workers, the teachers, and even the students, because people actually cannot, because sometimes if you come to these college students and how these college students debate, Charlie, talks, how their mindset, how they think, and you ask them their school fees, and they be like, oh, I'm on sponsorship and I'm not paying school fees, I'm sponsorship. And you're like, wow, so people are actually sponsoring education, and this is what you're actually doing here. Like, sometimes Charlie asks them simple economic questions that they are learning in school, in the school that people are actually funding. They barely answer them. Like, sometimes they just rant about it and end up insulting Charlie. So government using people's property tax, people sweat to fund this education, and we are not yielding any results. It's a cost 90 job. And moreover, and more to less, I've never seen Charlie campaigning or debating against public educations, or debating government shouldn't fund. No, I've never seen him campaign, debating that. I've never. But then if you want him to debate for, campaign for the fact that they should invest more in public schools, the public education, which is very good. I mean, ideally, everyone should be educated. It is important. I mean, if people get opportunity, they should get opportunity to be educated, irrespective of if either they can afford it or they cannot afford it. People need education. So it is good for government to fund these institutions and stuff. But then he needs to make sure this campaign that he's doing is worth enough, because government should, he cannot campaign for the government to invest in such educational system, and yet the teachers there are not doing their jobs well. Students are not, making that public education, that free education worth it. Then what's the need of, what is the benefit, or what is the importance of the campaigning for? So yeah, I agree on Charlie. I agree to Charlie everything that he said. But then I don't know what exactly my guy here was actually debating on, or I don't know the arguments he was trying to argue. But then yeah, if people are actually going to use their taxes to do something, it should be worth it. It should be worth enough, And I love how smart and intelligent Charlie is. If you try to outsmart him, he will put you in your right position. So before you try to outsmart Charlie, you better be smart enough. But my guy here is good. He's smart with his spectacles, but next time he should bring his fats and his fiddle well before he comes challenge my Charlie. Let me know what you think about this video. If you have any add-up, any subtraction to it, leave it in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. And then if you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to click on the subscription button for more notifications. Thanks for watching, guys.